I keep my friends close, but not my mother. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review season 4, episode 7 of The Real Housewives Who Left Their Mom with No Ride Home of Salt Lake City. So we start the episode off at Angie K's house. But Angie K, she wants to have this Easter event at her house and she has these invitations for everybody on the show. She wants to give it to them through an Easter bunny mascot that looks very creepy looking, right? So the mascot goes around to everybody giving them their invitation. They start off with Whitney and she's just walking. All of a sudden the bunny approaches her like, hey, I know what you're doing. And gives her the invitation and she's like, oh my God, I love bunnies. Thank you for the invitations. Tell Angie K that I'm gonna be there, okay? I'll dress really pretty. And then we see Mary. She's in the middle of a parking lot inside her car. The bunny approaches her and he knocks on the window. All she does is roll down the window and just take the invitation. And she's just looking at it all scared like... And then Heather, she's getting inside her car, and I'm not really sure how they filmed this specifically either because the bunny was already inside her car in the back seat. See now, Angie K, that right there, you were trying to set up the bunny because if it was me, I'm getting in the car and I see anybody suspicious in the back seat. Oh, you were trying to give me an invitation for a party. Oh, I'm so sorry. I broke your arm and gave you a black eye. Here, let me help you. You know, that was a setup on the bunny's part, but Heather, she screams and she's like, ah! And she gets the invitation. Then we see, I believe, Lisa in the confessional. Of course, she's going on a rant about Angie K and Meredith. She's like, oh my God, so yeah, Meredith and Angie K. Oh my God, a bunny. Hi, bunny. Hi, baby bunny. Oh my God, I love your outfit. Can we take a selfie? Is that an invitation? Oh my God, I love invitations. I love parties. No, I'm definitely going. Thank you. So anyway, back to Meredith. But I thought the whole setup was cute. I thought it was a cute invitation. Then unfortunately, we see Whitney and her husband Justin going out for date night to this restaurant. They're sitting at the table and not even 5 seconds after they sat down, Whitney already tells him, Justin, you're a terrible husband and you need to communicate a little bit better with me and I want you to do more around the house. And I'm like, if I was Justin, I would have told the waitress, check please. I know we didn't order anything, but yeah, we'll take it to go. Like she's already starting and she blindsides him again and she's like, remember that morning when I made bacon for the kids and I almost burned the kitchen down because I didn't know what I was doing? I just really wish I had more of your support and I really wish that you were there for me, Justin. But instead you just went downstairs and you went on Instagram and you ignored me. Justin is just looking at her like, okay, what do you want from me? And Whitney, she starts getting emotional like, I want you to communicate a little bit more for me. Like ever since you started your job, we have been on 2 different pages. And I remember 2 reviews ago, I was talking about their marriage a little bit more in depth, but then I cut it all out the video because I thought, I don't know. But this scene right here confirmed everything that I was thinking. And I personally feel like Whitney will eventually leave Justin because I feel like this show is getting to her head and her head just keeps getting bigger and bigger as the seasons continue. And I feel like by season 5, season 6, or even by now, by the reunion, I feel like eventually she will have outgrown Justin and she's probably looking at him like, I'm too good for you at this point. You know, I'm becoming a superstar of this show. I'm the main focus of the show. Like, I'm too good for you. I need somebody else who could at least match my level. And I can also see it from Justin's point of view, looking at Whitney like, who are you anymore? Like, you're not my wife. You're not the same person that I cheated with. Ooh. You're not the same person that I have the alleged affair with. You know, you're not the same Whitney from season 1. This show just transformed you into this monster, basically. This messy monster, and I don't know if I want to be with you anymore. So I could see it from both ways, especially when Whitney confirmed that he's not wearing his wedding ring. Well, I mean, you know, if anything, I'm more shocked that she learned how to cook bacon. Next, we see Lisa and Glasses heading out to do this activity with hot wax and scents, and I'm not really sure what that was about, but Lisa, she tells Angie, hi Angie, oh my God, so I like totally love your invitations that you sent out for your event. I love it. I love bunnies. Did I tell you that I had a bunny when I was younger? I love it. I love bunnies. I love bunnies and Taco Bell. Let's go sit down. So they get at the counter, they're setting the whole activity up, and all of a sudden, we see one of the employees, this girl, she starts approaching Lisa, and you cannot tell me that the producers didn't set this whole thing up because out of all the places and time to be, it just so happens that you managed to run into your friend's mom, right? So she's trying to memorize her lines that the producer gave her. She goes up to Lisa and she's like, hey, are you Jack Barlow's mother? Like, girl, please, we are not dumb. We know this whole scene is a setup. And Lisa's acting doesn't make it any better either because she's looking at the girl like genuinely shocked, right? And she's like, oh my God, wait a minute. Are you Jack's friend? Like, Lisa, please. And then what makes it even worse is that the first thing that comes out of her mouth is not, oh, how are you? How did you meet Jack? You know, how long have both of you been friends? No, she tells the girl, oh my God, wait a minute. So do you know about Jack Barlow's mission? Like, why are you bringing that up? So the girl tells her that, yeah, he told me that a long time ago. Lisa, she feels some type of way because she's the mom. And she was like, wow, he can't tell me. And Lisa, again, that just goes to show you how he views you. Because if he does tell you anything about himself, you're most likely going to make it about you or try to make it about you and not focus on him. So eventually Lisa's like, oh my God, okay, well, thank you for that information. And she goes back to Angie K. The girl, she goes back to doing her job. AKA, I'm pretty sure as soon as the camera's cut, production probably told the girl, okay, you could go home now. Here's your check for $15. So then Angie K and Lisa starts talking about this whole situation with Monica and the husband situation. And Angie's like, well, I invited everybody to the event, but Meredith, because I just don't appreciate her spreading these rumors about my husband. And I just really wish that she would open up her eyes and realize that they're all basically just pawns in Whitney's game. Because again, Whitney set this whole thing off in motion by pretending that she didn't know about this rumor. And I believe she was tweeting about it last night saying, oh, I never knew about this rumor. Yes, you did, Whitney. We are not dumb. We know how you play on the show. And you know, she put the battery in Monica's back, and unfortunately, Monica is doing all her dirty work, and now she's getting all of Angie K's wrath, right? Including Meredith, which I said last week. Meredith never mentioned anything yet. She never confirmed anything about her husband sleeping around with men or doing any of that. For all we know, she could have known about a rumor about him at his job or something completely different, but we'll never know until she confirms that. So, and then surprisingly, we head over to Mary's house, and I don't think that we've ever had a friend of the show, at least not that I can remember, have their own separate scenes at their home like this. And I feel like production probably wrapped up filming this whole entire season. They probably told Mary at the end, so we have a snowflake that we want to offer you to be a full-time cast member. And Mary probably looked at them and said, it's not happening. And now we're stuck with these scenes. So Mary, she's at home with her son, Robert Jr., who's 20 years old. She starts asking him, so I've been hearing that you are married. Is that true? Robert, he's looking at her like, I mean, maybe, I mean, sure. I mean, you know, kind of, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, what kind of Juan and Robin Dixon marriage is going on here? That sounds like something Juan would say, but eventually he's like, yes, we've been married, but we've been married for a year. And Mary, she's shocked. I'm shocked. We're all shocked because, again, they both live in the same house. So how can you even keep that a secret? She says that she suspected something when she ran into him and the girlfriend in the hallway. They were dressed really nicely, and next thing you know, they ran out the house. And just like Jack Barlow had his reasons for not telling Lisa, his mom, about his mission, I feel like the same situation applies here. Robert probably thought, if I tell my mom, Mary, about my plans to marry her, she's probably gonna judge me, criticize me, or be against the whole idea. I'd rather not say anything to her and keep it a secret. But for a whole year though, Robert, and did anybody hear what Mary said in the confessional? She says, well, I mean, me and my son, we really don't see too much of each other because we both have our own separate wings in the house. And I'm like, ooh, excuse me, Mary. Mary said, while you were too busy running your mouth, I was running to the bank depositing a Trump check. Donald Trump. I am very rich, bitch. Well, riches, you better get those motherfucking teeth fixed. Sheree and Nene were something else, but Mary starts getting emotional and she starts crying, and I was shocked to see that, you know, because we really don't get too many vulnerable moments of Mary on the show. So I appreciated seeing this different side to her. And her son was looking at her, he went over, he hugged her, and she was like, well, you do know that I care about you. You're my only son. I do care about you. But, you know, just know that I'm not going to support your wife financially. I'm like, Mary, you couldn't just let it be a cute moment, huh? And speaking of Jack, we see Heather at her house. She's calling her daughter who's on vacation in Mexico to tell her, you know, Lisa Barlow's son, Jack, unfortunately, he's going on a mission, and I don't think it's a good idea. And I wish I was Heather's daughter, and you're calling me while I'm on vacation in Mexico to tell me about somebody else's mission? I would have told Heather so quickly, Okay, fuck Lisa, fuck you, and fuck the mission. Bye. The only mission that I'm worried about is shaking my ass here in Mexico. But she tells Heather, yeah, Mom, I agree with you, especially with everything that you wrote about your experience in the missions in your book. How can they do that? And Heather, she's torn because she wants to be a supportive friend to Lisa, but how can she be a supportive friend if she doesn't support these missions in the first place? And I mean, Heather, you tried to warn her later on in the episode about everything that you've gone through with these missions and everything that traumatized you with it. And that's as far as you can do because, I mean, if Jack is set on doing this mission for whatever reason, and whatever the outcome, good, bad, or indifferent, probably bad, then that's going to be his doing and his choice. You can't force him to not do it if he's already set on it. Same thing with Lisa. If she wants to support this blindly and she knows the consequences or the possible consequences in the end of how it could affect her son and he could come back a whole different person, then so be it. You know, she's gonna have to face reality when it does happen, if it does happen, and that's gonna be her own thing. And you can only say, well, I tried to warn you. We head back over to Mary's house, and her house is huge because Meredith, she comes over, she rings the doorbell, right? Mary, who's in the kitchen, she goes to answer it, but it takes her like a good 30 to 40 minutes just to get to the front door. And by the time she got there, the episode was almost halfway over. She opens up the door. Meredith, she comes in and she tells Mary, hi, Mary, how are you? What's been going on? What's been happening? What's been new in your life? Mary informs her that Robert just told her that he's married to somebody. And Meredith, she's caught off guard thinking that she's talking about Robert Sr., her husband. So she's like, hold on, Mary. What do you mean he's married to somebody? Isn't he married to you? He's married to somebody else? I don't understand. Mary's like, oh, no. I'm not talking about Robert Sr. I'm talking about Robert Jr. It would be a little bit strange if he was married to somebody else. As if it's not already strange that both of you are together, but okay, so her and Meredith, they take a 45-minute walk back to the kitchen. Mary has wine, snacks, fruit, a charcuterie board for them ready to eat, and she starts talking about the group, and she's like, you know what, Meredith, I really thought that being away from this group for almost 2 years, that I would come back and everybody will be changed, they'll be mature, they'll be able to handle conflict between each other much more better, but obviously that hasn't happened. And I mean, Mary, I'm not really sure what you expected with this cast specifically because they've been consistent from season 1 all the way up to now that they're toxic. And I think that they like it that way, and I don't see it changing in the near time, in the future at all, actually, to be honest. So she's like, yeah, until they change or grow up a little bit more or mature a bit better, I don't see myself being a part of this group or hanging around them for too much. And I mean, if that's the case, Mary, then I guess we're just never gonna see you on the show because I don't see that happening with this cast, especially with Whitney. So she starts talking about the invitation that she got from Angie K to go to her Easter thing, right? She's like, did you get one? Meredith, she's like, well, no, I didn't get one. But you know what? Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to go anyway because me, my husband Zeph, and my son Brooks, we are going to LA for the GLAAD Awards. You know, we have to do other things, and I don't think I could see myself going to that event anyway. So Mary's like, oh, okay, well, if you're not going, then I'm not going either. And then Meredith starts talking about, the rumors again about how they're all pinning this whole, her spreading that Sean has been sleeping with men on her, when in reality, she never said anything about that, right? This is all Monica and Whitney. So Meredith is like, I don't understand why people think that I'm spreading rumors about Sean being gay when I have a gay son myself. I'm a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community. I would never do such a thing like that to anybody. I know how harmful that could be. So I want people to stop this now. And like I said before, I just don't see Meredith doing such a thing. It just looks iffy because of what she threatened back in Palm Springs about saying, oh, she wants me to talk about the husband. And then we find out this, like, one episode later. So it does make it look a little iffy, but I just don't see her doing it. I could be wrong, but we finally get to Angie K's house for her Easter event. She's making sure that all the last minute touches are good. She's walking around all nonchalant with this stack of cash money, like all these stacks of cash. And she says that it's for a dance later on, a Greek dance called Zabiko. And all I heard was, that's just another word for a strip club, but okay. Because was it just me or... I was ready to assume the position because my knees and my mouth got a little bit watery when she's just pulling out that cash like that. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm ready, Angie K. Shake that ass for some money. Shake that ass for some money. I'm like, wait a minute, Angie K. I think I take back everything I said about you in my last 6 reviews. I want to go to the next party, but So then we see Mary, and well, we don't see her. She calls in. She's like, Angie, I won't be able to go. I feel so bad because my house in Vegas, it got flooded a year ago. Like, Mary, what kind of sense? Like, I don't get it. What does that mean? Like, what do you mean your house got flooded a year ago and you can't make it? You know damn well that you're somewhere in your house, in your closet, making this phone call. And she's like, I feel so bad. I really wish I could be there. I just feel so terrible. You know you don't care. Like, stop it. Like, what excuse is that? But so then Angie was like, well, no, I appreciate it. You know, I'm just glad that, you know, it shows that you finally have feelings. And I'm like, ooh, wait a minute, Angie. Don't get slick. So eventually that was that. Everybody starts coming in one by one. I believe we are introduced to Angie K's father. He's a widow. Her mom had passed away. She's one of 7 siblings. And you know what? I actually appreciated Angie K this episode because typically we see her running around after somebody, Meredith, looking for a moment. And I'm pretty sure we're going to go back to that schedule by next episode. But for this episode, I like that she gave us an in-depth look on her family, her father, her mother, and her culture. And then the priest walked in. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me cover up. You know, shit got serious. I'm like, Angie K, what is wrong with you? Why are you having a priest at a Real Housewives event? Like, that is crazy. But he walks in, Monica walks in with her 4 daughters and her toxic mom. Her name is LD, aka Linda. She goes over to Angie K's father and she's like, oh, hey. Mwah, mwah, mwah. They do the double kiss and he's like, oh, you know about our culture, about our kiss? And she's like, yeah, I mean, I am Portuguese. We do that too. And she asked him, are you also single? And I'm looking at her like, relax, Linda, you just got here, relax. And Monica, she's off to the side like, no way, it's never gonna happen. And could you imagine if her mother got with Angie K's father? That would technically make them stepsisters, so that would be crazy. And then Heather, she runs into Sean, Angie K's husband. She's like, oh, I love your pants. How do you get them like that? He jokingly says, oh, well, you know, my boyfriends do it for me. And I'm like, funny, Sean, funny. So they sit down at the table to eat, to drink, you know, to toast and everything. Angie K, she makes this weird toast about herself, I think, and I'm not really sure. I was with Heather. I don't know if she was trying to make it seem as if she was Jesus herself. It sounded off, but okay. That was that. Then Heather and Lisa, they go off to get some dessert. Heather asked her, so what's going on? Because Whitney told me that it's always Whitney, but nobody's ever addressing her, right? She's just there looking at the chaos that she's causing, right? She's like, Whitney told me the other day that you were bothered that I was hanging out with Angie. Why? And Lisa's like, well, you gave her a lot of grace, and I just feel like me and you are in a weird predicament right now, and I'm not sure what's going on. And Heather's like, well, I do feel some type of way that I was the last person that you told about Jack's mission, and I'm not sure why, because I've gone through that, and I could tell you some pointers about it. Lisa, and you know, to make it short, Lisa does not want to hear anything that Heather has to say, because she knows deep down inside what Heather is saying is true, and she doesn't want to come face to face with that. She wants to be delusional about how she goes about her religion, and yeah, people go about their religion their own way, but the way Lisa portrays it, and the way the Mormon church is so strict, I don't see how she's a part of the Mormon church or how she has certain beliefs when she says, oh, you know, the way I'm dressed right now, I would go to church like that. And to me, I don't care, but I'm pretty sure that the Mormon church, they would care, right? Because I'm pretty sure you have to have the undergarments and everything. So I'm pretty sure that they would not let Lisa just walk into church with a strapless dress like that. And on top of that, they're against tequila or alcohol in general. And she runs a whole Vita tequila. So I'm not really sure. I was with Heather. Like, Lisa's not partly. She's extremely delusional with the way she feels about religion and everything. And she doesn't want to come to terms that this whole mission thing is a bunch of BS. You know, the way she's saying, oh, I'm going to raise Jack to be a good Mormon. You were a bad Mormon. First of all, and this is just my opinion, I do not think that there is no such thing as no good Mormon. If a Mormon has to follow whatever, you know, everything that we've learned from this show so far, if you have to follow all those rules to be a good Mormon, then you're no good Mormon, because what kind of good Mormon would stalk people, be in some type of cult, you know, according to Heather last episode or 2 episodes ago, you know, transphobic, racism, all of that? Like, what kind of good Mormon follows all of that? and still says, oh, I'm a good person at the end of the day. Like, I don't see Lisa's logic, nor do I see logic with the church, with that church specifically. So, and like I said earlier, Heather, you already gave your warning to Lisa. Like, look, I don't think that this is a good idea. Look at everything that I've gone through. If Lisa chooses not to understand on purpose, then that's on her. And whatever happens to Jack in the mission, and if he comes back a different person after, and their relationship is strange, then that's on them, because you tried to give her a warning. Don't continue trying to hammer away like, look, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, because obviously Lisa is not gonna get it. Jack is gonna do what he wants. It is what it is. Meanwhile, Angie sits down with Monica and she tells her, Monica, I just wanna know who told you these rumors about my husband? And Monica, she finally says it. Look, the people who told me are the people on the streets of Salt Lake City. And there we have it. It was never Meredith. I don't know where that narrative came from. Whitney. And I could have swore that Monica went along with that and she never denied it. But now she's saying that people on the streets of Salt Lake City told her these rumors. And I'm not sure why Angie K is acting surprised either, because you just told us that you and your husband have been hearing these rumors for 30 years. Same thing for Heather. Lisa, she's pretending like she never heard them. Whitney, she's also pretending like she never heard them. So I'm not understanding what's going on with that. And then Angie tries to threaten Monica by telling her, well, I know a lot of things about you and certain rumors that you wouldn't want me to speak about. So if I was you, I would be careful. Monica, she beat her to the punch because she starts listing out every single one. And she was like, what, that I cheated on my husband, that I was messing around with my brother-in-law, my house got foreclosed. I'm like, wait a minute. We didn't know about that one, Monica. You could have saved that for a later episode, but okay. That her car got repoed, I believe, like all these things. And I'm like, damn, Monica, when you put it that way, you sound like a shitty person. But at least she's honest about it and she put it all out there. Angie K, she's struggling like, oh, wait a minute. I was going to use a couple of those rumors. Now I have nothing against you. But then they start going back and forth. And again, Monica is getting pissed off because you're accusing her of, putting out these rumors or whatever when everybody's been talking about it. She's the only one to put it out there on TV in front of the cameras. That's the one thing that's just like, Monica, did you have to do that? But and then on top of that, she's like looking at her reaction like, calm down, calm down. And I'm like, don't tell her to calm down or, to settle down when you came to her. She never came to you. She was fine. She was eating her food. And then speaking of Linda, Monica's mom, she comes over and she sits between them like, you two are so beautiful. You two should be friends. Like, what's going on here? Let's make up. And I'm like, lady, no, we're not making up. This is the Real Housewives. Go away. And then she starts telling Monica, she starts using that condescending tone. Like, Monica, maybe you should settle down, like calm down just a little bit. Let's talk things out. She's even talking to her in Portuguese, and Monica, she's already at a 10 and she's looking at her mom like, no, I'm not doing that. And then everybody around is just looking at them like they're causing a scene. What's going on? Lisa and Heather and Whitney, they start, chuckling to themselves like, oh my God, why is she talking to her mom like that? So then Angie did the smart thing by getting out the crossfire between both of them. And she was like, obviously today is not the day to discuss this, so we could discuss it a different day. And she gets up and she walks away. I'm like, what a punk, but okay, she walks away. But you see, you walked away as soon as you riled up Monica, and now she's pissed off. She's at a 10. You're looking at her like, what's going on? Why are you reacting like this? Because you didn't expect that. People kill me with that. They want to push buttons, and then as soon as you give them a reaction that they don't expect, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't expect you to react like this. I wanted you to react like at least like a 3 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10. And now look. She's the victim. She's walking away and now Monica looks crazy, right? So Monica, she's looking over at her mom and she's like, don't do that shit with me. Stop. I'm about to pop off. And I'm like, ooh. I'm like, wait a minute. What is going on? Not the mom and daughter. And I'm just looking at the mom like, lady, you should really move like Angie did because you're about to get body slammed. So then Monica, she's like, you know what? I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this with your BS. She gets up. She starts walking around like a shark, like, looking for prey, like, who's next? Who's my next victim? Angie, she goes back over next to her husband, Sean. Sean, he's like, oh, we don't do this in our house. We don't act like this. And I'm like, I wish I was Monica. Listen, I'll knock all this shit down and then leave. Like, what do you mean? Your wife came to me first and now I'm mad because she came at me like this. Like, don't try to make me look crazy. So then the mom, She continues following Monica. She's sitting at the table. She goes over and she's like, Monica, please relax. Like, you just need to apologize. I'm so sorry for her behavior. You just need to apologize. Like, relax. And I'm like, lady, like, again, people have been calling her a narcissistic person, and the woman is just toxic. She's terrible. And again, like I said, I was just triggered just listening to her conversation with Monica and the way she was acting towards her, like trying to make her seem like the villain, trying to make her seem like as if she's the problem, like she's this crazy person. And then Monica, I'm glad that she didn't back down, just like last week. She was just like, Mom, stop with the bullshit. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to you. You tell her to stop. I'm like, wow. And everybody's just looking in shock, like, she's really talking to her mom like that. Angie K is like, I would never talk to my dad like that. And again, that's another thing that people kill me with, that, like, oh, you shouldn't talk to your you should respect your parents. You shouldn't talk to them like this or recklessly or blah, blah, blah. And I mean, to a certain extent, I kind of agree. But at the same time, you're not going to be somebody, you should not be your parents' doormats to the point where they could just talk to you whatever way or use the excuse of, oh, you live underneath my roof. Whatever happens here, whatever, it's my rules and you have to follow them. No, we're all humans too. Just because you're my parent doesn't mean that I can't talk back or I can't disagree with certain shit that comes out of your mouth that just sounds ridiculous. So the mom finally gets the hint. I believe she goes to sit down with the husband. And I believe she starts being like a pick-me, like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? Like, what dance are we doing later? And I'm like, she really just wants all the attention on her. And I feel like that's probably why she was following Monica around. Monica, at this point, she had walked away. She had gone to the other side of the room. She's on the couch. But wait a minute, because on Twitter, according to everybody on this show, they said that there was a couple of scenes missing from this episode, because supposedly the reason why Monica is sitting on the couch by herself is because she had fallen down a flight of steps in Angie's basement, like right before this. And I believe she had a bunch of bruises all over her legs. She posted pictures on her Twitter. Her legs were all fucked up. And she said that she fell down some steps. Lisa Barlow has said that her youngest son, that the children were in attendance and they were all watching this go down. According to Monica, it was the opposite. There was no children. All their children were downstairs or something, doing something else. And then I believe Linda, she goes over to Monica's couch. She goes over there. She sits down and I'm like, Linda, you're really just, whoo. Like, I could not believe this. Meanwhile, everybody else, they're all dancing for the money and everything. I mean, I know Monica, I know you're pissed off and everything, but they're throwing money, just go dance for a little bit and then go back over and then, continue being pissed off. They're dancing, they're throwing all the money and stuff. And I'm like, oof. I was just salivating. So then back to Monica. Her mom is like, sweetie, what's going on? What's happening? Again, with that condescending voice, right? What's happening? I just feel like you should apologize. What's going on? What's happening? Monica, she's not backing down to the bullshit. She's like, no, Mom, no. You continue trying to place blame on me as if I'm the issue, as if I'm the problem. Stop it. Like, you continue doing this. Like, you really need to stop. Seriously, like, no. And it was just crazy to me, their interaction. I was just witnessing this, like, what is going on? What is happening? Because there is some type of hatred between them, or at least from Monica to her mom, some deep-rooted issues between them that eventually we're going to see play out on this show. And it's just crazy to witness. And then in the confessional, her mom, Monica was like, I just really wish that I had a different mom sometimes. And it must be very painful to say that and to admit that. And I know people are going to say, your parents, this, and the third, you should love them forever, et cetera, regardless of whatever they do to you. I don't personally believe in that fully, but if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. I wonder how her mom is going to feel once she sees that. I'm pretty sure that's a big pill to swallow from your daughter. But I mean, look at your behavior. You make it no easier either. Sometimes parents do not make it easy to love them, and it's a reality. And the mom, this is the thing that pissed me off, because she was like, she starts chuckling, and I'm like, you really are like this gaslighting lady, like this gaslighting witch. And Monica's like, you know what? I'm gonna leave, and you need to find your own ride home. I'm like, oh, it's really that serious. So Monica, she gets up, she goes to get her kids. And if I was Monica, I would have been like, kids, pick up a couple of those dollars and, give them to mommy. Just putting them down my dress. We need to pay a light bill. But then she gets her kids. And again, according to her Twitter, she says that none of her kids were in attendance for this whole fight, this whole argument. That the kids, they did do the Easter egg hunt. outsiders or whatever. They weren't present, right? And then she left in the giant Uber X black truck, right? She said that supposedly when she got in the truck, the next stop was the hospital because again, if you go to her Twitter, her legs are completely fucked up. I'm not sure what happened or how did she fall down the steps like that to bruise her legs so terribly like that. The mom is left there looking stupid, like just looking around. Everybody's in shock, like, oh, she shouldn't talk to her mom like that. She shouldn't talk to her mom like that. Whatever. And that was that. That was another episode of the Real Toxic Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like this was a very intense episode. It really was. Last episode was very intense, and this one was too. And from the looks of it, it's not slowing down anytime soon. Next week, we are not getting a new episode of Salt Lake City, but we are getting the premiere of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and The Real Housewives of Potomac the following Sunday with Married to Medicine. And you know, I really wanted to try to review Married to Medicine this time around, but I've never seen any of the seasons in full. I don't know any, I know of the cast members here and there, but not enough to really like, you know what's going on this time around. I went back to season 1 recently to try to watch to see if I could catch up. It's just not possible. It's just way too many storylines, way too many cast members, old cast members, way too many seasons, episodes, and not enough time. So I don't know about that. So next week, I'm also traveling back to the East Coast to my home state of New Jersey. I'm celebrating Halloween in New York. So I'm really excited about that. I'm a big fan of Halloween. So you know I'm dressing up. So let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.